the moon of Chin, and the pass of Han. You'll get dark circles if you don't sleep. Always swap to wilderness building videos right before bed. Watching this guarantees a beautiful night's sleep. Today, I'm guessing. My dear viewers, your phone battery is around 68%. And you're currently in this exact posture. If I guessed right, let me know in the comments. If I'm wrong, take a picture and post it down below. Now, please put your left foot behind your neck. Let's get straight into today's main topic. Our nomadic guy in overalls wants to settle down this year. He's looking for the perfect spot. In the Ionian jungle, to build a permanent home with his bare hands. A more ambitious plan is brewing in his mind. He also wants to generate electricity with a water wheel, and light the first lamp in the jungle. After trekking for 2.5 days, he finally arrived by a small river, and found a flat piece of high ground. No need to worry about flooding here. While enjoying a panoramic view of the mountains, the summer jungle is lush with vegetation, so just clearing the ground took him quite some time. Once completely clean, he takes out his tools to start digging. Digging foundation pits a few dozen centimeters deep, ensures a solid foundation for the future. Overalls uses his footsteps to survey the area, and quickly digs out 6 identical large pits. He has already prepared the building timber in advance. He just needs to use all his might to carry it to the site. Logs thicker than his thighs can serve as the bottom supports. However, before fixing them in place, he needs to carve out suitable mortises, so they can be planted into the foundation pits, one by one. He still forgets to carbonize the bottoms. Looks like he hasn't suffered enough from harsh reality. He'll learn his lesson when termites get to him. Now, for the crossbeams. Carving out tenons allows them to lock onto the pillars. I must say, he has truly mastered mortise and tenon techniques. With such ease, he assembles a sturdy foundation frame. Once backfilled and compacted, it will be incredibly stable. Not a single wild iron nail is needed. Next, it's time to consider the floor construction. Overalls plans to continue using thick logs to make it sturdy and durable enough. He's like a perfectionist, master craftsman, carving perfectly fitting mortises at every joint, ensuring every piece of wood fits tightly together. After placing them, he drills holes and inserts wooden pegs for secondary reinforcement. With a floor like this, it wouldn't collapse, even if an elephant stepped on it. Insects and the babbling stream form a nice chorus. The birds in the woods become the most elegant singers of these mountains. After several days of hard work, the foundation finally takes full shape. Mellow and sweet tea is the best reward for the soul. After a break, Overalls resumes carrying timber. Soon, he gathers 2 tall piles. First, he processes the wood into the desired size, and then carves out half-depth notches, so the subsequent logs can interlock tightly. This is the classic log cabin structure. Houses built this way are sturdy and durable, warm in winter and cool in summer. Each layer's connection is reinforced with wooden pegs, ensuring the overall structure doesn't shift an inch. He also reserves the doorway space in advance, which saves a lot of effort for the later construction. Dappled sunlight shines through the jungle, creating a beautiful Tyndall effect, making Overall's silhouette look even more resolute. Looking unusually handsome right now. Perhaps this is the charm of wilderness building. Time flows by swiftly, like the stream. Who knows how many days have passed. The walls are now over 1 meter high. Now it's time to leave space for the window. Overalls directly chisels a level base on the log. Then he can continue building upward. Once stacked to the expected height, he can handle the window frame. He first drills a row of holes in the upper and lower frames. Then inserts smooth wooden sticks into them one by one. So when the top crossbeam is covered, it becomes a perfect window. Since he is deep in the tropics here, there is no high requirement for ceiling. So the window's main purpose is ventilation. As the building progresses, the house has surpassed Overall's height. so he plans to start building the roof. He first moves a lot of timber up for later processing, which can conveniently act as temporary scaffolding. He plans to first build the gable walls on both sides along the edges. He just needs to cut bevels on both ends of the logs, then continue stacking them up like a wall. Only the length will gradually shrink. During this process, he also slots the roof beams into place, avoiding the effort of reinstalling them later. Soon, the whole structure reaches its maximum height. Now it's time for the main ridge beam. Overalls picks the straightest and thickest log to bear the future weight of the house. As for the extra parts on the sides, they are specially reserved. To become beautiful eaves once the purlins are installed. From a distance, it looks like a work of art. On the side wall, Overalls reserved a large hole in advance. It's not clear what it's for yet. He continues to build a square frame outside the hole, then adds 4 pillars on top of it. Reaching all the way to the roof level. Then he carves slots at the top and installs a delicate small roof. At this point, can you guess what this is for? Congratulations, you guessed right again. This is actually his chimney bracket. Of course, bare wood alone definitely cannot withstand the high heat of flames, so it needs the reinforcement of stones and wild concrete. Overalls first builds a mud platform as high as the hole. Then he can build up a beautiful fireplace. Look at this smooth hearth. You couldn't make this without decades of craftsmanship. Once the rolled mud strips are placed, it literally looks just like a gas stove. For the upper chimney, he first uses wooden boards to assemble the outer wall, then uses wild concrete for internal fireproofing. Such a structure is not only stable, but also matches the overall aesthetic. Next is the roof completion phase. These processed wooden strips are the cabin's rafters. They will serve as the roof tiles. Most solid support. Overalls lays them down unhurriedly, one by one. Soon, it turns into a crisscrossing grid structure. Now he just needs to trim the excess. And it's basically done. Next, he has to consider the hardest problem, rainproofing. He brings over a thick log, then saws it section by section into 2-finger-wide wooden discs. When he has enough, he trims the sides off to make beautiful wooden tiles. Who knows how much time it took? He piled them up high in the corner. Next, he's ready to climb up and lay the roof. But considering that constantly climbing up and down is a bit dangerous, Overalls decides to make a ladder first. Of course, this is a piece of cake for him. Hey, why did he make 2? Only when he starts assembling do I realize how superficial I was. The simple ladders transformed into scaffolding. I have to say, Overalls is really smart. Now, he can fix the tiles onto the rafters one by one. I just gotta say, bro, why don't you get some wild iron nails? Drilling holes one by one like this will take forever. A full 2.5 days later, he has only covered half the roof. With nails, it would have been done in an hour or so. But, to be honest, it looks really nice. Like it grew a thick layer of scales. The artistic value is at least 3 or 4 stories high. As the last ray of sunlight is slowly covered, the cabin gets its incredibly solid armor, standing firm against the wind and rain. Even the chimney gets its own exclusive hat, so there's no need to worry about rain pouring in. Perhaps feeling the doorframe is a bit ordinary, Overalls decides to add some artistic design. He arranges wood pieces in a circle and nails them to the outside, giving it an indescribable sense of beauty. Now the house is only missing a big bed to lie flat on. Overalls immediately carves mortises into the wall, so the wooden boards can be firmly locked in between. He quickly lies down to test it out. It fits his 1.8-meter height perfectly. Exhausted after so many days of hard work, he needs a pot of tea to soothe his soul. There are quite a few berries in the nearby bushes. This black one is called Chinese knotweed. Brewing tea with it can relieve dampness and heat. Overalls casually picks some, and the tender leaves of this fern plant are delicious wild vegetables. Back home, he immediately lights the stove and goes to the river to wash the wild vegetables, getting ready to cook. Bracken only needs a quick blanching and mixing to be eaten. To save energy, he grabs a hearty can of fish and sits alone by the bed to enjoy it. After a full meal, a cup of hot fruit tea seems to quietly wash away all the fatigue. As the night deepens, the jungle's noise is gradually replaced by the chirping of insects. Overalls lies on his newly made wooden bed, looking at the starry sky through the window. The corners of his mouth unknowingly curl into a smile. The next day, the gentle sunlight wakes him up. He comes to the river, washing his face while thinking about the next step. Currently, the space in front of the door is a bit empty, and it's close to the riverbank, with a steep slope that isn't very convenient. So he plans to build a viewing deck here, along with some stairs. First, he uses a shovel to map out a fan-shaped area, then digs a trench along the marked line. So he can use clay and stones to build the foundation. The deep pits left in between are for the railings. This structure prevents the edge soil from sliding, and also enhances the overall aesthetics. With the base done, he still needs to process some wood. First, sawing them to the right length, then carving out the mortises. Then he can plant them in the pits and start assembling. With the help of mature mortise and tenon structures, the efficiency is quite high. In no time, it transforms into a delicate railing, making it safer to go out and enjoy the view in the future. The stairs need to be built from the bottom up. Overalls uses stones to build them up bit by bit, and installs the railing posts in suitable positions. Under the witness of the crooked tree by the river, 9 steps rise from the ground just like that. Once the handrails are installed, it looks very beautiful. Overalls seems tireless, always having endless work on hand. Just finished the stairs, he brings over a lot of timber again. He first makes a simple bracket with wooden sticks, then mounts the wood, marks it, and starts sawing. It looks simple, but it's actually quite difficult. Often, a single plank takes about an hour. I can only say, this guy must have superhuman stamina. The sawn planks still need to be smoothed and polished with a plane, making them as perfect as machine-cut ones. Once he has enough planks, he can start his artistic creation. What if the board isn't wide enough? Overalls will teach you. Just drive a row of wooden pegs into the side of the board, so they can fit tightly together and merge into one. This is the small shutter door for the window. Installed, it will shield him from the sun and heavy rain, and the remaining planks are for the main door. After all, having stayed here for so long, having no main door really feels insecure, because the area is too large. He uses a Z-shaped wooden brace to fix it. Once installed, it swings smoother than Dove chocolate. A delicate latch is naturally essential. It's just, why do you guys always like installing it on the outside? In his free time, he feels the house is still a bit high off the ground, so he plans to make small stairs for easy access, and also to make it look grander and more beautiful. Going out this time, Overalls also brought 2 special items, a large light bulb and a small generator. Just turning the shaft can light up the bulb. Of course, hand cranking definitely can't maintain a stable supply. Clever Overalls is going to make a water wheel, using the nearby stream to work for him for free. First, he needs to make the central rotating shaft. He finds the exact center of the wooden stump, drives in a wooden peg, then uses a cotton string to draw a perfect circle. With further cutting, he gets a perfect cylinder. This is the core used to fix the water wheel blades. After some fairly complex planning, he can use a chisel to carve out 2 rings of suitable mortises. Once the wooden slats are slotted in, a beautiful wheel takes shape. Of course, more supports need to be added to the details. When he stands it up against the wall, from a distance, it looks like a ship's steering wheel, to allow the river water to push it. He also needs to fix wooden boards on the edges. Finally, he secures the generator shaft into it, and the masterpiece is complete. He can't wait to move it to the river. But a new problem appears before him. To make the water wheel turn stably, he needs to build a solid platform, which is very difficult without cement. After all, clay can't stop the turbulent river water. But this kind of problem can't stump our overalls. See this crooked tree? Since the ground won't work, I'll suspend the water wheel in the air. Just by making a simple bracket, he can firmly hang the water wheel in mid-air. Goodness, you really planned everything around this. Did you have your eye on that crooked tree from the very beginning? Once hoisted into place, he tests it out. A gentle push makes it spin wildly. Confirming there's no problem, he can build a dam to strengthen the water flow. This doesn't require high ceiling, as long as it ensures high-speed stream water flows past the wheel. Once built and the blockage is removed, the water wheel starts spinning rapidly. Since it's still early, he doesn't plan to connect the generator just yet, but goes nearby to dig up some turf. This hardy green grass is soft and spongy to step on, perfect for laying on the viewing deck in front of the door, instantly transforming the little cabin into a grand villa. During his subsequent exploration, he caught quite a few small fish and crabs. Looks like he'll have a hearty meal tonight. When he finishes and returns home, the sky is already getting dark. It's time to experience the convenience of the electric age. He immediately pulls a wire out from the house and connects it to the generator outside. As the water wheel slowly starts up, the light bulb flickers and lights up. This is the transition from mechanical to electrical power, and also the crystallization of Overall's true skills. Although the brightness isn't particularly dazzling, in the pitch-black jungle night, this fresh halo of light seems especially precious. Meanwhile, the delicious food in the pot is perfectly stewed. He serves it hot on a wooden plate he made himself, and enjoys it beautifully under the light, before he conquered the wilderness. Now, he quietly invites civilization to move in. This wooden cabin is no longer just a shelter, but a micro-kingdom, with light, heat, and scenery. In everyone's heart. Is there perhaps a similar dream? Maybe not a wooden cabin and a water wheel, but a little world built with our own hands.